Namaste everyone. Welcome to Ashwin's Astrology. I hope all of you are doing well and are in good health. This video is all about Mercury turning retrograde on December 13th, that is today, in Dhanu Rashi Purvashada Nakshatra. Mercury is a conditional benefic planet, but currently it is in Dhanu Rashi and is aspected by its disposter Jupiter, who is also retrograde, and now even Mercury will also turn retrograde. So we can consider that Mercury is a benefic planet because Mercury, being a conditional benefic, will attain the benefic or malefic nature based on the situation, position, and also on the aspect and conjunction. So Mercury now is currently benefic because it's in the Purvashada Nakshatra, which is its friendly nakshatra, which is friendly planet Venus Nakshatra, who is also natural unconditional benefic. So from all these factors, we can term Mercury currently is very benefic. So Mercury, being a benefic planet now, will turn retrograde. So this will give certain kind of adverse effects on the world. So this video is all about discussing on this Mercury retrogression and its adverse effects on the world. So if we have to see what is retrogression from the astronomical point of view, I have given the video link in my description which you can refer to. That will give you from the astronomical point of view what is retrogression and when planet tends to be retrograde and what actually happens in retrograde. Just to brief about Mercury here. So whenever Mercury exceeds in its motion, that is in its planetary motion, and goes ahead of Sun by around or close to 27 degree, that's when Mercury will turn retrograde and will start moving in backward motion. So if it is in Sagittarius, it will move towards Scorpio. It may or may not enter, but this time Mercury will change its sign on December 28th and it will move to Scorpio or Vrishchik Rashi. So currently Mercury is in the Sagittarius or Dhanu Rashi. It was before in Vrishchik Rashi last month. So from Vrishchik Rashi it had moved to Dhanu Rashi. Now again after turning retrograde in Dhanu Rashi, it will move back to Vrishchik Rashi on December 28th and till January 2nd Mercury will be in retrogression motion even in Scorpio Rashi. So once Mercury turns direct on January 2nd in Scorpio Rashi, it will come into direct motion and it will start marching towards the Sagittarius or Dhanu Rashi. So this next 20 days will create certain kind of events in the world because of which we might have to witness some adverse events also, because a benefic planet which was completely benefic is now turning retrograde, means definitely it has to give a adverse effects. So this video is all about this retrogression effects. So people may ask that what kind of effects it will have for the individual moon sign perspective. So as I mentioned in my previous videos also, any effect on individual would be based mainly on the promises in their birth chart and also on the dasha antardasha, which will be the major important factor in anyone's life. So currently, as you can see on the screen, I have casted a horoscope at the time when Mercury turns retrograde. This is a transit prediction. So kindly do understand. Transit will have minimal or very less impact on individual. That is only 10% or 5% impact. Other than if it is Jupiter or Saturn transit, because they are major and gigantic planets. So Mercury being a very small planet and is very close to Sun, and Mercury keeps changing its sign at least once or twice in a month, and that's why the effect of Mercury changing its sign or any change in retrogression direct motion on individual is very less, or it brings very minimal impact. But if in your birth chart, please look into your own individual birth chart, that is in your kundli at the time of birth. If Mercury is retrograde, if Mercury was vakri in your birth chart, and currently in Mahadasha, Antardasha or Pratyantardasha, if you have Mercury has one of the planets, suppose it is Rahu Mahadasha, Mercury Antardasha or Shani Pratyantardasha, or Shani Mahadasha, Rahu Antardasha, Mercury Pratyantardasha, or Shukra Mahadasha, uh, Shani Antardasha and Mercury Pratyantardasha. So any of those, that is Mahadasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, if any of these three has planet Mercury, and if you had a planet Mercury has retrograde in your birth chart also, then this Mercury turning retrograde for the next 20 days will definitely have the effects on you. Whether it will be good or bad will depend on the Mercury position in your horoscope. If it is benefic or if it is placed with good planets receiving good aspects, then this retrograde can give you some amount of benefits. But majorly, retrogression of Mercury or even of Saturn and Mars will give negative effects itself, and that's because these are not unconditional benefic planets. So Mercury, even though it's a conditional benefic, currently seeing the scenarios, it's not a benefic, completely benefic planet as it had to be. So that's why this can give you adverse effects. So there is no individual moon sign predictions in this video, but more emphasis on the mundane predictions, because that is very very interesting and very important to note as well. Because December being a month of vacation and many people take off and travel to different places, so for them this video may serve as a caution or an alert. I'm not frightening anyone, but I'm just adding a caution or an alert. So to be careful for the next 20 days. So at the time when Mercury turns retrograde, this is how the chart will look like. So it will happen in the 10th house, and Mercury is conjunct with Moon here, who is another conditional benefic planet. So it is also similar to Mercury, and it is in a dual sign. Mercury is also the lord of two dual signs. And there is a Kendradipatya dosha if we see from the horary perspective also. And it is Pisces Lagna where Rahu is there, and the Lagnesh Jupiter is in the retrogression in the second house. And Jupiter also will turn direct very soon in this December month. So Rahu in the Lagna also indicates some mishaps or some calamities. So that is a point to be noted. However, Lagnesh is about to turn direct in the same month, and it will be in stationary mode. So this is a good point of view because Jupiter is aspecting the 8th house also where Venus is present. But let's see what are the major effects on the environment, that is from the mundane perspective, which we can see. Mercury represents four areas where it will have the major impact. Firstly, from the climatic conditions. Secondly, from the communication which it governs primarily, and also on technology perspective, which is very fast and furious, and also from the travel perspective, because all the areas which requires that fast paced approach is what Mercury is a karaka for. So, seeing from that perspective, Mercury turning retrograde, that is Mercury being retrograde from December 13 to January 2nd, will have the following effects. Firstly, we can experience depression at Arabian Sea because Mercury will turn retrograde in Purvashada Nakshatra, and in the planet in the nakshatra system, Purvashada Nakshatra represents west direction, and that's why we can expect heavy rains in the west direction, especially in these regions: Gujarat, Mumbai, Goa, Konkan region, and in coastal Karnataka also, Mangalore, Udupi, Kasargod, and also North Canara. So all these regions in the west direction will experience heavy rains, and there is a possibility of depression at Arabian Sea as well. Now recently we saw the depression or cyclone effect in the Bay of Bengal side, so similar effects we will see in the west direction as well. So people living in Bangalore, you might don't you might not require AC anymore. You might have to bring yeah, what to say, room heater actually, because you will have the effect of coolness from both east and west direction. So this is on a lighter note. So the first effect of Mercury turning retrograde from climatic condition perspective is there will be depression at Arabian Sea, and heavy rains are expected in these regions, especially in west direction. Next is on Nifty and Sensex, which are two main indices of Indian stock markets. So there will be sudden drop in these two indices, and there will be reversal of gains in the financial markets. There are multiple reasons along with the Mercury turning retrograde here, because Saturn is in the 11th house. So he limits the gains here. Saturn, who is the lord of in 11th house, is in 11th house only. This should be good, but he will limit the gains, because in the last 2 3 years we have seen that markets have grown very high, and it has already reached the peak also. So now for the next 20 25 days we might see that there will be reversal of gains also, because now Saturn is also in direct motion, and Jupiter will turn into direct motion. So again Saturn and Jupiter will get connected the way they were in the first 6 months of this year. So till from Jan to June 17, how the financial market conditions were there. Similarly, we will have it now also for the next 20 25 days. And because Mercury is also adding its contribution at the same time, we will see that most of the stocks will start its corrections, and there will be reversal of gains. Next, on communication point of view, so this miscommunication may increase, especially with your father, with your guru, or with your managers, or even with the in-laws as well, because Mercury is currently in the ninth house in the Kalpurush Kundli, and ninth house represents father, guru, and also manager. So because this is the year end time, and most of the corporate companies will have their year end discussions, so if you are having year end discussions from December 13th onwards, please be very careful. If whenever you are communicating something to your manager, or even when you are communicating something to your father or guru, or anyone who you consider as a mentor in your life, because ninth house is the house of beacon of light, and any person who happens to be a beacon of light to you, that is who guides you, who mentors to you to be a better person in life, they become they are represented by the ninth house. And Mercury turning retrograde in ninth house can increase the miscommunication with those individuals for you. Next effect of Mercury turning retrograde will be the technical glitches or sudden fluctuations in the mobile networks or internet services, or any kind of services which requires tech and its fast paced approach. So we have seen previously also that when Mercury turned retrograde, or when Mercury was in retrogression motion, there was a sudden fluctuation in mobile services, and also in the technical services, even impacting the stock market services. So this can continue, or this can happen even in these 20 days also. So these are the technical, or any kind of technical glitches can happen in next 20 days. Next, coming to traveling, and very important perspective for which I actually made this video, because December being a month of vacation, as I said, many may take off and travel overseas or within India with their families. This time, traveling may result in accidents or mishaps, and sometimes even in death also, if their chart is promising that. If Mercury has any connection with your eighth house in your birth chart, if Mercury is in retrogression in your birth chart, or is afflicted by any malefic planet in eighth house in your birth chart, and currently Mahadasha, Antardasha, or Pratyantardasha is of Mercury, then this transit can affect you majorly and adversely. So this is a caution for all of you who are planning your vacation during this time period, because this is a major traveling time period in any country, and especially in India. So if you're traveling at this time period, and especially to west direction, Goa, coastal Karnataka, Gujarat, Mumbai, this side, any of the west direction in India, or even to the west direction from the place you are in. Suppose you are in India and traveling to western country also, kindly be very careful. I'm not telling you to cancel your plans, but please be very careful, because if you have the same promise as I mentioned in your horoscope, also in your time period, Dasha Antar Dasha also, and this transit will definitely give you adverse effects. So traveling may result in accidents or any kind of mishaps or even death also, if it is having a major effect in your birth chart. So please be very careful, and please make sure, uh, if possible, please avoid this, because I can't what to say, I can't suggest any remedy for this, because uh, you can't avoid death, you can't avoid any accidents or mishaps. The only way to avoid is getting into that traveling mode itself. So I'm not advising on canceling your plans, but at least change the direction, because don't make any plans if you have not made plans, or if you're thinking to make plans, don't make any plans to travel towards west direction for the next 20 days, because it is not advisable, and we have so much of issues also at this time period. So for the next 20 days, kindly avoid traveling towards west direction from where you are staying. This is all about Mercury retrogression effects. I hope you liked my video. Kindly like, comment and share the videos among your friends and family circle. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon to receive instant notifications. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop it in the comment box. I will reply to it as soon as possible. Until we meet next, thank you and have a good day.